Welcome back to Storytime with Lori. So today is actually really special because a couple months ago, I shared with you all, I was cleaning out my garage and I found one of my favorite old journals that I used to write in, and I titled it, I Believe. Back in those days, I was going door to door, long, hot ass days, humbling days. After knocking on strangers' doors all day long, I'd come home and write motivational speeches like I was somebody's coach. And honestly, little Lori was spitting some game. So this page right here is called Play Your Strength. I am a very firm believer that you should know your strength and play to it. So let me dive into what little Lori was sharing at that time. I am a firm believer that you should know your strength and play to it. Early on in my career, I discovered this to be true to myself. One of my natural abilities is that I'm skilled at interaction. Great. So I could talk. Now what? I work with numerous people who master this skill in everything they do. Now, it became my goal to understand and acquire that. Remember, don't mask your own spirit, spark, or uniqueness to emulate someone else. It becomes a detriment to developing your own identity. You surrender your own strengths in the pursuit of acquiring the strengths of others. Each one of us is coached or trained accordingly to our own personal strengths. Great performers are coached and counseled to excellence. Okay. 20-something-year-old Lori already had TED Talk energy. Okay, let me dissect one of these quotes. Early on in my career, I discovered this to be true to myself, that one of my natural attributes is that I'm skilled at interaction. Clearly not has much changed because talking is still very much of my ministry. Great. So now what? I work with numerous people who master this skill in everything that they do. It now became my goal to understand and acquire that. Okay, that part really hit me because when you're young, you spend so much time looking all around you at everybody else, trying to figure out who you should be, who talks better, who looks more polished, who seems more successful, who has it all together on social media, which half the time you already know that's a lie. And somewhere in all that, you can start overlooking that very thing that makes you very special. Remember, don't mask your own spirit, spark, or uniqueness to emulate someone else. It becomes a detriment to developing your own identity. You surrender your own strengths in the pursuit of acquiring the strengths of others. Now that right there, baby, that young girl was tired, but she was also so wise. Honestly, reading this now made me emotional because this young version of me had no idea where life would take her. She didn't know about the setbacks, the growth, the healing, the rebuilding, the wins. But somehow, she already knew not to abandon herself. That's why this feels so connected to what's happening right now. Because even in my early 20s, sweaty, tired, knocking on doors, writing in this notebook after work, there was still a little voice in me saying, girl, trust yourself. And maybe that's the message today. The thing that comes so naturally to you, the thing that people are drawn to you about, the thing that you keep downplaying because it feels too easy, it might actually be your gift. So maybe Lori always knew, and maybe you always knew too. Thank you all for sitting here with me for another Lori Always Knew. See y'all tomorrow for Storytime with Lori podcast.